Hey guys, one of the biggest questions I get whenever I talk about digital planning is how to get neater handwriting on an iPad. So in today's video, I will be sharing my top tips with you on how to get neater handwriting on an iPad. I know that sometimes we just want our notes and plans to look neat, not like we just scribbled them down. So I really hope these tips will help you in getting your handwriting better and so that you don't have to stress out so much about it. Whether you're new to digital planning or not, I hope these tips will help. And yeah, so let's get started. Okay, so number one is using a pencil. So I'm a big fan of Apple products, and of course this video is on how to get neater handwriting on an iPad. So my number one tip is to buy an Apple pencil. I really think an Apple pencil will make a world of a difference. Using an Apple pencil is a must. I tried using different pencils when I first started out, but they just didn't work out. And most would have a lag time, which really bothered me. So I definitely think investing in an Apple pencil is a great idea and will make a world of a difference when it comes to your writing. Let's try to get this into focus. I'm sure you know what an Apple pencil looks like, but I use the second generation Apple pencil and I really love it. Okay, so number two is my pencil tips or my pen tips. So let me see if I can zoom this in or if I can get this into focus. So this is the one I currently use. My pencil's a little busted, but you can see the tip right there. If you could see, it kind of has like a metallic tip. So these are the tips I love to use, and I actually bought a pack on Amazon, and it was pretty inexpensive and I really like them. So they came in a little box like this, and the one in the middle is my original Apple pencil tip. And then you can see I have two more, which one is a little bit pointier than the other. So I'm currently using the one that's pointier. So it's pretty inexpensive and I think it will make a good difference in your writing simply because I think having a more like pen-like feel when you're writing really helps with your handwriting. Okay, so number three is pencil covers. So I've actually bought 3 different ones. So actually 2 of these came together. So I have these with the little cover, and they come with their little covers. Just make sure that when you're buying a cover for your pencil that it goes well with your pencil. And so the other one I have is this one. This is the Moco. This is what it's called. If you could see, it's like backwards, I guess. But I really like this one. I enjoy using this one. Sometimes I will switch to this one, but I currently have this one on my pencil before I took it out. I really like it. It's clicky and it protects my pencil, which is really important. I don't know if you guys can tell, but my dog chewed up my pencil. So I had to order new pencil tips. So I ordered the original ones and then I also ordered these other ones because the tip of the pencil didn't work anymore, and I was actually really scared that it just stopped working because of it being chewed up, but it actually still works, so I'm really happy. So I really like this cover just because I don't want my dog chewing up my pencils anymore. And yeah, so definitely invest in some pencil covers. They're not that expensive. I will link all of these things down below for you guys. They're not that expensive and really go with what your preference is. So for example, some people have told me they don't like this cover simply because it's too chunky feeling, it's too big, and some people just don't like that. So if you're that type of person, I really recommend these because these are like silicone and the grip is so good on them. So like this one, I feel like it's hard to write on its own just because like your fingers will be sliding. I don't know, it's not that comfortable. So I definitely recommend getting a cover for your pencil, and just having a cover on it will help with your writing because it will have a grip. So I recommend that. Okay, so my next tip is to actually get a paper feel screen protector. This one currently has a paper feel screen protector on it, and you don't have to buy the really expensive ones. So when I first heard about the paper feel screen protectors, I actually heard about a different brand, which I thought was a little bit pricey, so I didn't want to invest. And honestly, when I first got my iPad and started digital planning, writing on it, I did not want to cover it with some other type of texture on the screen. I actually really enjoyed writing on the glass, but then I kept hearing about these paper fuel screen protectors, so I started doing a little bit more research or a little bit more searching on them. And I actually came across a company that creates really nice quality screen protectors that are pretty inexpensive. So I will also link those down below if you want to give them a try. After I applied the screen protector on my iPad and started using it, I actually really liked it, so I haven't ever taken it off since I put it on, and I actually prefer that now. As a digital planner, I constantly use my iPad to plan, so I really do prefer having a screen protector on it, especially now that I'm also using the tips, these like metallic tips. I do want to protect my iPad from getting any scratches, so I think this screen protector really helps with that as well. Okay, so the next tip is a little obvious, but sometimes we just forget about it. But the next tip, number 5, is writing slower. So sometimes when we write too fast, your writing can get messy. And I tend to do this a lot, but I don't really mind when my stuff looks a little bit messy, just because it just doesn't really bother me. But I know it bothers other planners, so I think taking your time with your writing and just writing a little bit slower will definitely help with your writing and make things look more consistent. So if you are a fast writer, maybe just get used to writing slow so you can kind of get used to writing on an iPad. And as you get more used to it, I guess you will adjust to being able to write a little bit faster. But to begin, I would suggest just writing a little bit slower. Okay, so tip number 6 is zooming in. So on any iPad or tablet, you can just zoom in and just write down. So if you've ever watched any of my Plan With Me videos, you'll see that I do a lot of my planning, especially on my monthly overview. I have to zoom in and then I'll write down just so that it looks a lot neater. I think if I didn't zoom in, it would definitely look messy and I wouldn't like it. So I do use the zoom in feature. And if you have GoodNotes, I would suggest using the magnifying little feature that they have. I think it's a really good feature if you want to be able to see your entire planner and still be able to use a zoom feature. So you can actually zoom in with the magnifying glass on any part of your planner, and then the top portion will still show the entire planner, which I think is really cool. So you could use either or. This will help just because you're zooming in and kind of getting more precise with what your handwriting looks like, instead of just writing down like normal and not being able to actually get that precise writing that you want. Okay, so tip number 7 is explore your pen settings. Explore whatever pen settings you have in your preferred app. You may be able to adjust the thickness or the type of pen, allowing you to find the perfect settings that suit your handwriting style the best. So experimenting with these things can help you achieve neater and more personalized results, which is what you're going for anyway. So for instance, my preferred app, GoodNotes, has 3 main pens to choose from, and they all write differently. So we have the fountain pen and brush pen, which are both pressure sensitive. This means that the ink will change based on how much you press down and how quickly you write. For the fountain pen, you can also adjust how pointy you'd prefer the tip to be, and these make great pens for when you like to write like calligraphy or a much more creative style of writing. Then there's the ball pen, which will give you a uniform line no matter how much pressure you're using. The ink will look the same and give you better control. So I like to use the ball pen setting just because I like mine to stay uniformed. And you also have to remember, if you're using GoodNotes and you're using the other pens, you have to use an Apple Pencil if you want to get that calligraphy style look, just because the sensitivity is based on what the Apple Pencil does, sort of. It won't give you the same precision if you're using any other type of pencil. So I do recommend the Apple Pencil, like I mentioned before. Okay, so tip number 8 is palm rejection, and this is actually a tip that not a lot of people know about, so I'm excited to share this with you because I think if you haven't used it, I think it will make a difference with your writing. So palm rejection is something that comes with your app or on the iPad. It allows you to rest your hands on the screen while writing without any marks you mean to add. So like if you're accidentally, like sometimes we rest our hands on the iPad when we're writing, like for example, we'll write and then we'll get marks on it because of our palm is resting on the iPad. So palm rejection kind of avoids that from happening and from any marks to be made accidentally. So I really think this is a great feature for you. And apps like Notability and GoodNotes have built-in palm rejection features, so you can check those out. Okay, so the last tip I have for you, tip number 9, is to use text instead. So I have an iPad, so I'll show you how to do this on an iPad. The first thing you want to do is to make sure that Scribble is turned on in your settings. To do this, go to Settings, Apple Pencil, and turn on Scribble. This feature allows you to turn your handwriting into typed writing instead. It's a neat feature if you like your notes to look consistent. Of course, you can also use the text feature that is built into the app. I like to use my keyboard when I use this feature, but mainly use it for my journaling notebooks. The great thing about digital planning is that you can erase as many times as you'd like. You can edit things, you can move notes around, you can resize, and that is just the beauty of digital planning. It's not like regular planning when you write things down, it's kind of stuck there forever. So with digital planning, you can erase it, undo it, redo it, resize it, do anything you want. You can change the color of it, no matter if you wrote something down like a month ago. You can actually make mistakes and you can erase them easily. Alright you guys, and that is all for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope these tips have helped you. Please let me know if you know of any tips that I did not share in this list, or if maybe you did try one of these tips and they helped. I would love to know which one was your favorite or which one you hadn't heard about. And yeah, until next time, happy planning.